Hey, welcome to Life with Al. I have to tell you, I realized something about myself recently, and I've never really thought about it before, but I have turned into a big fat liar. I'm not talking about just a little fibber or telling a few little white lies throughout the day. No, I am accomplished at thinking quick on my feet, making up lies, honestly, just spinning a whole new reality. And I feel really good about it. And it's making my mom much happier. And so I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm going to encourage you today to do the same. So, for you seasoned caregivers, you probably know where I'm going with this. We have to lie to our loved one. I've worked with caregivers who found this very difficult, and I get it, especially in the earliest stages. I mean, hopefully, all of us are people of integrity, so lying doesn't come naturally. But when your loved one has Alzheimer's, it becomes a necessity. And let me just give you a quick example. Probably the maddest I have ever been in a support group was when this new gentleman came in, and I have to tell you, I was grateful that there was a very seasoned caregiver there who'd been caring for his wife for many years. He'd been in the support group for over a year, so he and I had a good rapport, and he knew me. So he knew that I typically tried to respond with kindness, but this was not my finest moment. So again, I was glad he was there. And in hindsight, before I tell you this, just know, as soon as the group was over, I knew that I was harsh. I knew that this man was just exhausted, that he needed education, that he was clueless. All I can say is it wasn't my finest hour, and I'm sure, having a bad day, okay? But this is how it went down. He came in and sat down, very exasperated, which isn't unusual. I get it, we're exhausted. But he said, I'm so sick to death of her. She sleeps in late, then she gets up, and, I can't get her to do anything. And then she's taking a nap. And then when she wakes up, she's fidgeting, pulling everything out. She's making messes for me to clean up. Then come nightfall, she's asking for her mom and dad. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know one thing. I'm going to give her a reality check. Okay. Obviously not verbatim his words, but pretty darn close. I remember it was verbatim. I'm going to give her a reality check. And like I said, obviously now I know he was clueless, but everything he described was a typical life in the day of someone who's struggling and fighting Alzheimer's. And he just didn't realize that. And instead, he was arguing with her, telling her she needed to get up. It's already 10 o'clock, and, why are you making these messes? And, I can just imagine how frustrated she was because she wasn't able to understand or process. So in the support group, this is what I did. He was sitting next to me. So I kind of leaned over and I said, okay, you want to give your wife a reality check. Let's just think about what her reality looks like. Her brain is literally shrinking. Her world is getting smaller and smaller. She's forgetting her close loved ones. I'm sure that she's disoriented much of the time, and that's probably why she wants to sleep. And as she's waking up, just imagine waking up and sometimes if you're in a hotel or you're on vacation and you wake up and you're a little disoriented for a few seconds. What if you're that way all day and it never clears up? Imagine how frightening that is. And I don't think that was all of my thoughts. I think it was earlier, before I got all of that out, that the gentleman stepped in and rescued me. And he just explained in a kinder way what a person living with Alzheimer's, what their reality looks like. And while we do not want to reorient them or try to bring them back to reality, because they can't. Physically, their brain is shrinking, so therefore we have to go into their world. And on a good day, I think I would have been done that a little better. And I think at the last meeting, he did come back, and I did apologize to him, and he kind of laughed about it and said, that was a really bad day for him too. But anyway, So that's it. That's why we have to lie, because we want to do anything possible to keep our loved one calm and peaceful and just as happy as possible. But the first one that I'm lying to my mom about right now is very common. In fact, I don't know of an Alzheimer's patient who doesn't, as they progress, start asking for a loved one who's already passed away. And this is one thing I feel adamant about. Please do not tell them that their loved one has died. And I know I've worked with caregivers who have told them repeatedly, and they're not understanding why they're not remembering that their spouse or mom or dad has died. Just know that they no longer have that recollection, and to continue telling them, it's literally like they're hearing it for the first time, and that is just heartbreaking. So what we need to do is just spin a new reality. With my mom, she typically only does this right now in the evening when she's sundowning, but she often asks for my dad when he's going to get home from work. The other night, it was the saddest. It broke my heart. We were getting ready for bed, and she said, "Now, when is Neil going to be here to walk me home?" So sweet. And, my dad died 16 years ago. I don't know when, if ever, he walked her home, but in her mind, that was going to give her a sense of security, I know. And usually I can say, Daddy's still at work, he'll be home later, or, he's out of town or something like that, and appeases her. Last night that was not the case. She just, she was just very worried and kept looking out the blinds. And so I actually picked up my cell phone and pretended like I was on the phone with him having a conversation. And I was like, "Oh, really? All the way in Myrtle Beach? So it's going to be several days?" "Well, no, that's a great contract you got there. That's a big job. So no, mom will be happy to stay here." Anyway, so I let the conversation go on for a minute or so. And then when I hung up, Mom was sitting there, and she was listening. And I said, "Mom, Daddy's in Myrtle Beach. So, he's real sorry, but he's going to be there a couple days. But this is, really good news. And he just want to make sure you were good to stay here." And that appeased her. And she got into bed, she settled down. And so sometimes we have to be creative. And I know it's not always that easy. And sometimes there's nothing we can say, that appeases them. But we have to at least try. Another thing that actually, this is the third day I've been spinning this lie, and I love it because there for a while, my mom, every day was Sunday. Every day when I would go in there, for our morning routine, she'd say, "Now today's Sunday, isn't it?" And typically I would say, "Well, no, it's Tuesday, Friday, whatever," because I didn't really think that would distress her, and it didn't. But I started thinking the reason she always thinks it's Sunday is because she was an avid churchgoer. Sunday was her favorite day of the week. And she would, Sundays was the one day she didn't feel like she had to be working, doing chores. I mean, strong work ethic. And she always had to be busy. But Sunday was the one day she didn't have to do that. And so I know now, if she's feeling the need to nap a lot, she's kind of saying things like, "Well, I'm going to get up and do my chores soon," or "I'll be busy soon." So I started thinking about this, and I thought, she loves Sunday because she went to church. She didn't have to have an excuse just to lay around and be lazy. So why can't every day be Sunday? She's no longer able to go to church, but thankfully she went for many years to a church that's large enough that they have online services live. So for the last 6 months, she's been watching that live on Sunday mornings. So that's another reason she looks forward to Sunday morning, is because she knows I bring my laptop in there and she watches the service. So on the other day, she said, "Now today's Sunday, isn't it?" And it just came to me. I was like, "Yeah, it's Sunday. I'm going to go get my laptop," because I knew there's a whole library of old services. And even if it was one from last week or a year ago, she's not going to know the difference. And so we pretended like it was Sunday. She didn't feel the need to make excuses for just laying around, because to her, you're not going to work on the Sabbath. And so we did that. This is actually the third day that it's been Sunday. And, it's kind of like Groundhog Day. So it's kind of funny to me, too, because, it's fun to have your little alternate reality. So I don't know how long this is going to last. And all of us caregivers know we have to be flexible. We have to be willing to change to meet them where they are on a dime. But for now, this is working for her. So, I'm going to go with it as long as we can. The other thing that I have been lying to her about is I constantly tell her she's going to get better. And it's maybe a little different for her because she had some other health issues and a severe infection and different things last year, and she's still anemic and has severe arthritis and all. But I'm constantly telling her, because she'll say things like, "Well, when I get my mind clear, when my head gets clear, I'll do this or that." And I'm saying, "Oh, I know, Mom. I know you're going to get better." Tomorrow, in one of her Gladys gems that I might make a whole video about later, is tomorrow's another day. And so she'll say, "Tomorrow's another day," or "Everything looks better in the morning." That's another one of her sayings. And so I've started saying those back to her. "Mom, tomorrow's another day. I know you're going to be getting stronger soon. You're going to get better." Because for any of us to say, I don't know, try to reorient them that they have Alzheimer's. I get it in the very earliest of stages where they're still able to process that. But I don't know, that's just an individual choice. I could argue even then, I don't know. That's a hard one for sure. I don't have a definitive answer about that. But anyway, that's just a few of the things. I'm sure y'all have other creative ideas, just how we can spin another reality and how we can all become accomplished liars to keep our loved one happy and content. But whatever you're going through today, I just hope that you're able to find some laughter. If not that, if it's just so hard that you can't do that, I hope at least you can find some solace, some peace, some time just to, even if it's just for 20 or 30 minutes, just to be able to breathe and take some time for you, just to be able to decompress. And hopefully you have somebody in your life who is telling you how awesome you are and acknowledging what a hard job this is that we're doing. But if you don't, know that there are a lot of people in different online support groups that you can get in touch with, and certainly Life with Al on Facebook. I just want you to know that you're not alone, and we're here to support each other. So give yourself a pat on the back. Tell yourself how awesome you are, and even if your loved one's not there with you in the home, know that we acknowledge that you wanting to go visit and make sure they're well cared for and advocating for them. You've got an equally tough job, so kudos to you. I hope everyone does have at least a peaceful day, if not a happy day. So until next time, take care.